Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero in X-Force, and this is my Night of the Owls special. This is a continuing of the videos that I've been posting of all the comics that I have picked up since my last posting that was quite a while ago. And I'm getting all caught up here, posting every review, every comic that I've had since then, and getting back to my weekly postings. First up here, I thought I would do a little different. I thought I would show the singles first that I picked up, and then get to the real meat of this whole Night of the Owls. So I think all of these are worth picking up, but I'm going to show least important first and most important last. So I read a lot of Batman. I'll say that right off the bat. So there are a lot of these, especially the most important ones, I'm going to be showing in groups to get everyone caught up on everything that I've read. But first I'm showing the singles. These are series that I don't pick up anymore, but I wanted to pick up the issues that were tie-ins to Night of the Owls. First up here is Dark Knight. I believe it came out today, and that is issue number 9. This was a good issue. I read Dark Knight before, but it was probably, of all the Batman titles, the one I collected least of. It wasn't because it wasn't good. I liked it quite a bit. It's just there are a lot of Bat titles, and I only wanted to get the ones that interested me the most. But I really liked Red Robin in here because I really haven't seen Red Robin other than in Teen Titans. Now, Teen Titans is very excellent. It's well illustrated, well written, one of the sleeper hits for sure, but it's completely separate from everything else that's going on for the most part in DC. Didn't really talk about anything else than that was going on with that team. So it was really cool to see Red Robin here, and this was a very good issue. This is the first Dark Knight I've read in a while, and I was actually impressed. So it was a good issue, and definitely one to pick up for those of you interested in getting all the side stuff. Now I'm pretty sure I have everything. If I'm missing something, please let me know, but I think I have all the titles that are tie-ins. Next up here, Birds of Prey. Now I read Birds of Prey before, but haven't read any of the new launching of Birds of Prey. But this was a pretty solid issue. I liked the artwork. It wasn't the best. There were a few ugly moments in here, but I thought it was a decent issue. Probably not as good as Dark Knight, but it still was good. And I'm not familiar with this team now, so it was cool to read it again. So a mild recommendation for that issue. Next up is Batgirl number 9. These are, I believe, all number 9s. Now, Batgirl is a comic that I've read from the beginning. I love the last volume, and I've been really wanting to love it, but it really has not been captivating me. But I say, this issue is a great start. I was surprised. It was well illustrated, and Gail Simone did an excellent job here. This is the Gail Simone that I really liked when I read Birds of Prey before, and it's nice to see that she still can do high quality work. Even the Batgirl has not been bad at all. It's just been okay. So I'm very excited that this was a really good issue, one of my favorites of the crossovers that I don't usually pick up. Actually, I have been picking up Batgirl though. Even though it's not my saver, I pick it up when I see it. And that is the same for the next issue here. Of course, I read Detective before. I stopped reading, but I definitely wanted to pick up the Night of the Owls, and this was an excellent issue. Tony Daniel did a great job, and the artwork is fantastic. This was a good read. I enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites of the issues that I picked up on the side. Another one I really liked was Batwing. Batwing, like Detective, I read it first, but I actually ended up quitting this one earlier than Detective because I was going to pick Judd Winnick's Batwing or Catwoman. I ended up going for Catwoman, even though I loved the Batwing. I thought it was a great comic. So it was really nice picking up this issue and revisiting this character that I like quite a bit. This was a good issue. I still think Detective and Batgirl were the best of all of these, but they've all been pretty solid, and this was a no exception. Winnick did a great job with this. This was definitely a recommendation. Now we'll get to the series that I pick up on a regular basis. And we'll start with Red Hood. Now I'm going to go ahead and show real quick the issues up to Night Owls. And review them real quick. Issues 7 and 8. They're both excellent. If you've been reading Red Hood, then this one is an important issue. It's a confrontation that's kind of been a long time coming. And this issue was pretty much a new story arc, and it was actually a funny issue. I think that Lobdell does a great job with the story. I think he's been doing a great job with Red Hood, but definitely the star of this comic is the artwork by Rocafort. Beautiful artwork, and I love the way he draws these characters. Definitely, if he ever left the comic, it would be hard for me to stay with it, even though I love Red Hood and I was excited about this team being on Red Hood. Now to the newest one, and the Night Owl issue. This actually was a good issue. I like how all these Night Owls are very different. They don't really have a genericness about them. They all have a very unique style and skill set, and I think everyone that's been doing these has done a great job in showing that. This was a very good issue, and even though it wasn't my favorite, it was one of my favorites. And again, Lobdell and Rocafort did an excellent job, as always. Next up here is Catwoman, and I'm going to show the issues leading up to the Night of Owls. This particular storyline has not been my favorite so far in the Catwoman, but it was pretty interesting. Recently she had been caught with the police and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. And then now she's teaming up with this Asian super thief who has this kind of power. And it's interesting. I don't think they're my favorite issues. Definitely not as good as it's been. But the artwork is strong and the writing's strong. Winnick definitely does a great job in writing. I'm not really into this new character, but who knows, maybe my mind will be changed. It seems like he's going to be a fixture. And now number 9, the Night of the Owls issue. This was a good issue. It's definitely a one-shot. It wasn't as involved as some of the others were. It was more of a 1, 2, 3, it's over thing, which they all kind of are, but this one just felt like it more. I did like how it ended, though. I liked how she tied him up and left him by the bat signal and took off. She wasn't going to wait around. I think Winnick is trying to really have her stand up on her own feet and not really be doing too much stuff with Batman. They really want to have her own strong character the way Wonder Woman is. And I think they've been doing a good job with it. I think she's always been that way, though, but they're definitely trying to do that. They're trying to make a real effort to show that here. Still a really good issue, and I think Winnick's doing a fantastic job. Alright. Now, next are the best of the best when it comes to the Night Owls. And no question, some of the best stuff coming out in the Bat titles is Batman Robin. Issues number 7 and 8 are excellent. This has been a great series, and I've been having to make a decision here soon about ones I'm keeping. It's been really tough. This is excellent, and I get so many Bat titles, I try to find one that I can maybe stop reading, but it definitely gets tough because when they're written like this, there's just no way I wouldn't want to read these. I think after Grant Morrison left the series, it was a big question mark, but then the team that took over was great, and this new team that's now with the new launching is doing an excellent job. I really like the whole Bruce Wayne Damian stuff. I think the story's been told in a very successful way, and even though the artwork goes back and forth, it's usually really solid. Sometimes I love it, sometimes it does its job. And now for the tie-in issue. This is really good. Unlike some of the other ones, which were one-shots, this really had a lot to say with what's been going on already with Batman and Robin. What Damian ends up doing in here is a real significant point about what's going to be going on. The decisions he's making by every action he takes, and this really shows that. I think it's also very clear that Bruce Wayne's really seeing the kind of things in his son Damian that he saw in Jason Todd, and he feels he kind of failed Jason Todd, and he doesn't want to fail his son. But the challenge seems to be very similar. Some of the choices that he ends up making are very Jason Toddish, and I'm really curious if they're ever going to do Damian and Jason Todd, since they're very similar and they see things in a very similar way. This is a really good issue, and I enjoyed it, and I definitely strongly recommend it. And I thought the second best of the Night Owls was going to be Batman Robin, but I have to say, Nightwing has been absolutely great. Now, and it deserves the second slot. I'm going to show these issues real quick, 6 and 7. This wraps up the story arc that was happening before. I think it was really well done, and all the problems that Nightwing had in its beginning have all been worked out, and this is some of the best Nightwing storytelling and artwork of all the issues, and an excellent wrap up to the story arc. Next are the Night Owl issues. Now Nightwing has 2 because he started first, and this was probably definitely one of my favorites, but definitely my favorite of the non-main Batman title, and I really thought I was going to go to Batman Robin because it's been one of my favorites, but Nightwing really surprised me with the excellent storytelling, and I think Higgins is just really batting it out of the park with this. He's really on a great stride with Nightwing. Burroughs does good artwork too. The artwork has never really been my favorite, but when Burroughs does it, I think it's at its best. But again, I don't want to give away too much, so I'll just say that out of all the I guess you can say side, of all the other non-Batman titles, this is the best. If you're only going to be picking up 3 titles, these 3, Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and then of course this next issue are definitely the ones to get. And of course, it goes to Batman. This is where it all started, and this is definitely what you should be reading. What can I say about Scott Snyder's and Greg Capullo's run on Batman and Robin? On Batman. Pardon me. It is the best run on Batman that I've read in a very long time. You know, when I read Scott Snyder finishing up the Detective Comics, I was just blown away. I thought it was great. I've always liked him. I've always liked his writing. Him doing Batman, and it wasn't even Bruce Wayne, it was Dick Grayson at the time. It was just so good. It was like it was meant to be. It was like he was meant to write Batman titles. And then when I heard he was taking over the series, I was excited, especially with Greg Capullo doing the artwork. And it was one of it was probably only second to Justice League with Johns and Lee, as in hype. And it has not disappointed one little bit. This is definitely, if you're going to be reading one thing of the Night Owls, with no exception, this is the one to read. Though I would definitely recommend reading at least Batman Robin also, and Nightwing. Actually, Nightwing would be before Batman Robin. But if you're just going to be reading a couple of titles, you probably want another one with Batman in it. So Batman Robin would probably be the better choice. But if you want just excellence as in writing, you definitely want to get Nightwing as well. But absolutely must read Batman 7, 8, and 9. You know, it actually obviously it started before these issues, and anyone who's getting into Night Owl stuff, you really want to. What issue was it? Was it issue number 5? I can't remember now, but you want to get the beginning of Scott Snyder's telling of the Night Owls. I can't say enough good things about this. This is definitely a must read, and one of my favorite comics that I've read, period. Love Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo doing this title. I would like to say more, but I don't want to spoil anything. This is definitely easily spoil if I was to talk about the story. So, with that said, those are my Night of the Owls. I think it's been very good, and in some ways I've liked it better than the Avengers vs. X-Men. Avengers vs. X-Men's like a summer movie flick. It's like the Avengers movie. It's fun, it's great, it's enjoyable. Or this is more what I'm assuming the new Aliens movie is going to be like, with Ridley Scott. This is deep. This is just everything you want out of a Batman book. I just can't say more things about this. It's just a great and a must pick up. So I'm enjoying the heck out of this Night of the Owls. I'm really looking forward to see where they're going to be going with this, and I want to see how Grant Morrison's going to be tying into all this too. So really excited right now with the Bat books. Obviously, you don't need to pick up all those, but I would say definitely the first 3, the last 3 that I showed you: Batman, Nightwing, and Batman Robin. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.